in a world awash in chaos.
What is Joaquin Phoenix?
Joaquin Phoenix? What is Joaquin Phoenix?
Or whatever you said.
It's a man.
Oh.
His name is Joaquin Phoenix. Okay. What the fuck?
Jupiter.
Uranus.
A group of brave heroes take on all things action.
Season 3!
Hi guys, welcome to another great edition of All Things Action Video Cast. As always, I am Dad, aka Aaron, and with me again this week is
Aiden, aka the bear.
What's up, dude?
Nothing.
What's crapping in your world?
Not much. Just I'm excited that we're doing this week.
I know you've been asking to do this like for 2 weeks. So last week,
as of today, I think.
yeah, last week was just a little too busy. We Samaya and I went to South Carolina for another ECNL showcase. So we are back. I am well rested finally after getting in real early on Monday morning. We had to wake up like a few hours later and go to school, go to work. It was hell, but we're rested. We're ready to go.
Got like 3 hours or
Yeah,
something
she's
doing
crazy.
homework.
She's crazy. So, dude, we're going to try to get back to our format of like talking about topics, okay? We forgot one though. There's one we just drew a blank. I'm pretty sure we have 6 topics and we can only think of 5 of them. And the kind of people we didn't even bother to go back into our files and see what the 6th one was.
If you know it, tell us in the comments.
Sure. That sounds like a good idea. But let's go ahead and get started, man. Which one do you want to start on? Do you want to start on like the space one just because you read some stuff and it's fresh in your mind?
Yeah, let's start on space.
All right. Talk to me about what you found out about some space news and notes and things of interest for us.
So, SpaceX has launched as of, I think when they got to the ISS on Sunday, December 8th, which was a few days ago in our time.
Sure.
And we
So what did SpaceX carry up there?
they carried up some supplies for NASA.
Okay.
Like they did basically a robot hotel.
And what does that mean?
And
Because I saw that headline and I was like, a robot hotel? So what's it mean?
It's just a bunch. There's some robot stuff and there's some hunting robots for gas leaks on the ISS. So
That's kind of important, huh? So
yeah.
So they're kind of putting a surplus up there, huh?
Yes.
Of things that they'll need to kind of keep working out in space longer.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
And SpaceX also sent some mice up so that NASA and them can see what would happen with weightless up in space, because you're just
See what the
floating
effects are on kind of long-term animal.
there. Yeah, and
Yeah,
like human
organic stuff.
Yeah, like
So one of the things that
Stuff
they're
like
worried
that.
about really right now with the Mars mission is, number one, your body's going to change just because of being out in space and being weightless, not having to deal with gravity.
as much.
Well, hardly at all. There's no gravity in space, yeah?
Yeah,
Right?
but
So
doesn't planets kind of have gravity?
planets have gravity,
Cause
but if you're just out in between planets, there's no gravity, right?
right, because
So
it's not.
So
anything.
physically, it's going to take a toll on people, but they also worry about mentally. What's it going to do to somebody who's isolated out in space? Even if you're with a group of people,
Yeah, and multiple people.
it's still probably going to play, some havoc on people. So they're trying to figure out what the long term is. Now, the good thing is they do have people who have been out in space for a good long time on the International Space Station, so they can kind of go off of that stuff, and hopefully the trip to Mars won't make someone insane, literally.
Yeah. And like back when you were a kid, a little bit older, we sent men to the moon.
Okay.
But they weren't in space for as long a time as these.
Right. You're
group of
talking
people.
maybe a week total, not very long.
Yeah, not
It's
very
like
long.
straight up, straight back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we still got our flag and our U.S. flag and the moon.
As
and-
long as you don't think there's a conspiracy there, then yes.
Well, there might be.
Yeah, there might be. So,
But-
kind of unrelated to the space, but kind of in the science realm, X-17, a new particle that's been found. What's the hubbub with this thing?
So, I think scientists are kind of relating X-17 to dark matter.
Okay.
And if you don't know what dark matter is, which some people might not,
Yeah.
it's what makes space kind of like space, right?
Now look at the camera and explain to them what it is, because it has way more impact if you look at them right in the eye and you tell them
Isn't-
exactly what it is.
Isn't it like something to have to do with like what is made up of space or something like that?
Well, we talked about this upstairs and a little bit before the show. So when you look up at the sky, what do you see?
I see stars.
Yeah, you see
But-
stars.
But I
If
also
you're lucky,
see
you might see planets, right? You shouldn't look at it, but you see the sun, right?
well,
But
not
at
really.
night, you see those stars. What's in between the stars?
Nothing, basically.
Or so we think.
Oh, yeah, but
But
that's
what's actually out there is something that scientists have labeled as dark matter. It's
Yeah.
it's the space in between the stars.
yeah, and
that- and it's got to be something. Even air is technically different elements. We
Yeah.
don't see air, but it's all around us.
Like
it's pushing against
oxygen.
us right now. If I blow,
yeah,
it's
like-
there, right? Exactly. So out in space, there would be the dark matter. X-17 is technically a particle that they're skeptical right now, but it has been identified, and it could have potential to have us explain what dark matter actually is. And if we're being hit with dark matter from out in space, obviously the sun, ultraviolet light, can go through our ozone. We feel it, we see it. So it's very much a possibility that dark matter is actually coming through and hitting us on a millisecond thing every time we go outside and we're walking around. So
yeah, like
and it
maybe-
could be going through everything, just like the sun can radiate through your house and through windows. It's going to heat things up on the inside.
Yeah, like
So can dark matter, because it's out there, and who knows? It's
Yeah.
very exciting to think like, oh, we found a new particle.
Yeah, and again with the weightless, it's kind of hard to measure how much weight you're gonna lose being out in space. So
Cool. Anything else on that? Space. It's exciting. It's a lot to take in.
yeah,
Were you talking about aliens or something like that?
yeah.
You want to talk about aliens? What's on your mind?
So, some people this might be their first time, but me and my sister Samaya, we have done 2 conspiracy theories about aliens.
Episodes.
Yeah. And
Called Kids and Conspiracies. There's
Yeah.
one in season 1,
and there's one
in season 2. Now we're in season 3.
we haven't
Maybe
done
you
it.
can convince Samaya to get her stuff together, and you guys can do Kids and Conspiracies. Maybe over Christmas break.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be a good idea.
But I wanted to talk to you about what's your 2 cents? What do you think aliens are real?
Yes. Because here's the deal. I was thinking about this today while I was showering before the show. It's so unlikely that we are the only ones out there. Mm-hmm. But there's a very real possibility that there's nothing like us out there.
Yeah, not
To
like
say that, though, Earth is an incredible place that's filled with so many different species, so many different kinds of things. Today, I had to kill a fly. It's 12 degrees in Nebraska, and this horsefly somehow managed to get into our building and was flying around and was super aggressive. And I was thinking to myself, it pains me to kill you, my friend, but I have to because we are, my job is a laboratory. You can't have things flying around in there that can carry, all sorts of bacteria onto different things. Had to kill it. But I also got to thinking while I was in the shower, what is considered life? Because something as minuscule as a single-celled amoeba is life.
what's amoeba?
It's literally just a little thing that floats around in the ocean, in a pool of water. If you think about coral to everybody who isn't educated, or if you were an alien to fly down here, I don't think you'd think that coral is a living thing, but it is a living thing.
It is.
And so imagine if we go to, let's say somehow we're able to figure out how to get into Jupiter. And we fly down into Jupiter and we find this standing pool of something that resembles water. And there's something that looks just foreign, but it doesn't move at all. And it does, there's no sign of life. It could be something that's alive, like coral, where it's just a hard, porous thing, but technically it is living.
Alive, yeah.
And that would be considered an alien to us. Anything that we find that technically has some sort of organic property would be considered an alien.
Yeah.
So it would be so hard for me to say, yeah, we don't have any aliens. There's nothing else out there. It's like we have ants, we have cockroaches, we have humans, we have apes, we have giraffes, we have wolves, whatever you want to think. We have plants, for God's sakes.
Plants.
I mean,
some people also don't think that plants are living.
I won't turn the beer around, but it's a delicious beer from, Zipline. There's something called cultures in here where it's bacteria. There's actually something living inside of this beer.
Really?
Right now, I'm drinking something that is living inside of this beer.
Wow.
That goes into my stomach it's called gut biome. It's bacteria in my stomach. It's going to interact with my stomach bacteria, living things inside. So, man, it is crazy to think how deep you can go to consider something an alien. Mm-hmm. So I think, personally, in answering your question now, and it's been 10 minutes that I've been talking about it, yes, I believe that there are aliens.
Yeah, because I was thinking about what we were talking about in Kids and Conspiracies 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how in the F are we not the only ones out there? It's crazy because some people think, oh, well, the Earth is flat. And it's like, okay, you guys can think that, but it's also like...
Well, you and Samaya can get into stuff like that
on
your Kids and Conspiracies. But yeah, great question. What about you? What do you think? You think we're alone in the universe?
Hell no.
Whoa. That's some big words from a little guy. It's a good thing you're almost 11. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a few months, actually.
Yeah, I know. Pretty exciting. So you ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. So we got through space. Really quickly, I'll go through some of the easy ones for us. Guys, if you didn't know, CW right now is running Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's their big crossover event. It's supposed to be gigantic with a lot of big surprises and a lot of big names kind of coming out of the woodwork to be integrated into it. Like Brandon Routh is back as one of the Supermans. It sounds like it's from the Kingdom Come graphic novel that he's playing on there. Kevin Conroy, who has been the voice of Bruce Wayne / Batman in Batman the Animated Series and all the amazing Batman animated movies that they've come out with. He is actually playing Bruce Wayne, and it has been confirmed that he's playing Bruce Wayne from The Dark Knight Returns, which was the Frank Miller iteration. So we unfortunately have not had time to sit down and watch this. I'm so looking forward to actually seeing the whole thing in its entirety. It started on Sunday. I believe it goes all the way through. I think it actually breaks up a little bit where they're doing a few episodes right now, and then they take a break over Christmas, and then they start it back up again, and that'll kind of lead into the season premieres for some of those shows that are on the CW. So very exciting to think about that. Hopefully you'll be able to sit down and watch that throughout the next couple of weeks on the CW. Sounds like a really great concept.
Yeah.
Moving on to something else, guys. Since we took such a huge freaking hiatus, one of the things that I wanted to talk about in comics is, if you didn't know this, it's going to come as a shocker. You may not have heard this. I'm hoping you did. The Walking Dead, the actual comic book, is no more. In July, episode 193, or book 193, I guess, it was the very last Walking Dead. Kirkman basically said, I know this comes as a shock, but The Walking Dead has been predicated on surprising our readers and shocking our readers, and this is just the last shock that we're going to give you. This is the very last one, and with that, it was done. I have not read that. Obviously, I'm still kind of working my way to that. So hopefully, if you guys did read that comic book, let me know what your feedback was without spoiling it. If you haven't read it, though, go down, grab a copy of it, see what it was like. It sounds like there was a major death in it, obviously, and I'm sure you could kind of figure out who it probably would be. Like I said, I don't know, though, because I just from a high level reading of what went down and why Kirkman stopped doing it. I'm only speculating.
And
so.
if you have read it, don't tell him in the comments, please. No spoilers, please.
That's right. So, Raiden, we have 2 more topics left. Do you want to get gaming out of the way?
Yeah.
All right. Lay into it. What do you want to talk about? This
So-
is your area of expertise.
So, Apex Legends is in its 3rd season already.
Talk to them,
and-
not to me.
And so, I believe in a few, like after this month, sometime during this month, I think season 4's of Apex Legends is gonna come out.
Okay.
And for the first time, I think they also might have a Christmas event in Apex Legends.
So your game's really like pumping up, like the holidays.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a good time for those guys to kind of bring people in, right? So Apex did a really good job of like making almost like a zombie Apex
Yeah,
when it was Halloween, right?
Yeah, it was called Shadowfall. It was pretty scary,
Yeah.
but it was fun.
But it was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people played it then, and you're
If they
guessing
had
around
it.
Christmas they'll probably have a good turnout too, huh?
Yeah, and on Black Friday they also had a sale for some skins
Sure.
for like Octane and Watson, I think.
Yeah. Well, good. That's awesome. Hopefully that's a good thing then, right?
Yeah, and Fortnite's I think on the 11th, I think they're starting their 14 days of Fortnite event.
Yeah. I just read that they're extending this season by 2 months.
Yeah, because of that, so that they can get ready for the holidays.
So now, obviously, like I said, we took a huge hiatus. Apex was just kind of coming along at that time.
Yep.
Fortnite had been established. It seemed like Fortnite was dipping a little bit as far as like playership, but it still was going strong. What has been your thoughts since the last time we, were on All Things Action? Has Fortnite been usurped by Apex? Is it still as strong as it used to be? Like, what's happening right now?
I still think Fortnite's going strong, but
Okay.
I've been playing a lot more Apex recently because of the new Legend crypto for this season.
Okay.
But
You
I still-
Apex is kind of like starting to make ground,
yeah,
but Fortnite is still a big game online, right?
yeah,
Like people still play it a lot.
yeah,
Okay.
more than
That's good.
Apex.
More than Apex still.
Probably.
Wow. Okay. Well, good to know. So if you haven't played Apex yet, you might want to jump on, see what all the hubbub's about. If you haven't played Fortnite yet, that would be an amazing feat. It seems like everybody's played Fortnite.
Fortnite copied Apex Legends with the respawn system, kind of.
Sure.
Because Apex has respawn beacons, and now Fortnite has respawn vans.
Yep.
So,
Very cool. All right, Bear. So we started out with wrestling as the topic from last week. We will end this week with wrestling. So we talked a lot about AEW last week. Hopefully that didn't bore the hell out of everybody.
and that's why
but-
it was called AEW.
AEW. That's right.
Yeah.
So this week we thought we would talk a little bit about what makes AEW something special in regard to the WWE, which is AEW came out, and for a long time it was speculated because SmackDown was moving from USA to Fox, and it was moving to a different night, which was Tuesday night to now Friday night. It's Friday night SmackDown on Fox. Tuesday night had opened up, and the speculation was, before AEW started, that AEW would be taking on TNT, mind you, not USA, that time spot of Tuesday night. What actually had happened was they decided to take Wednesday night on TNT because Tuesday night apparently is a big basketball night, and so they didn't want to have counter programming with basketball on different stations, and TNT is a major basketball station, NBA station. So they went Wednesday night Dynamite
Wednesday night.
on TNT, and as soon as that happened, there's a little show that the WWE has called NXT.
That we have gone to.
Yep, we definitely have seen NXT live, and they decided that they would work out a deal with the WWE would work out a deal with USA to broadcast NXT, which originally used to just be on their WWE network, on USA, and they were going to counter program AEW on Wednesday nights. Therefore, anybody who was around in the 1990s and was a wrestling fan remembers fondly something called the Monday Night War. We now have
The Wednesday Night War.
the Wednesday Night War.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like the Monday Night War in some regards because WWE was in it, the Monday Night War, and WWE is in the Wednesday Night War too. So that means that because WWE owns NXT,
yep.
so it's kind of like the Monday Night War, but just a different contender, a different company, because WCW back in sometime in the 2000s.
No, in 99.
99 was
Vince McMahon bought the company in 1999.
yeah. So now it's kind of like Cody's promotion and Vince's promotion. Well, Vince owns it, the entire WWE thing.
Correct.
But Triple H started NXT, I think.
Right. Yep. And NXT is a promotional, it's a developmental
League.
promotion for the WWE. So basically, if you're an NXT star, you do your time, you show that you have what it takes to kind of be a main roster guy, and then they put you on the main roster at some point. Well,
On Raw or SmackDown.
if I were to speculate, Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, who are all executive vice presidents of AEW, they talked about creating change, and they were going to change the landscape of wrestling. I think what they did was they have accomplished that. They have changed wrestling where now WWE has forced itself to not necessarily look at their third brand as being a developmental thing. They have actually made it into a competitive brand, which has helped give some of those guys who have been, I guess you could call it saddled with being just in development, with actually having people watch them on a weekly basis, and actually they've been able to be seen on a network that is viewed by a lot of people. And so really, Cody and the Young Bucks, in a roundabout way, have actually helped their buddies who are still in the WWE. And so that's cool. Where this gets crazy is you talk about TV ratings. And TV ratings are broken up into demographics. And so for 7 weeks, the AEW show, Dynamite, actually beat NXT in all the demographics and overall ratings. Now, on week 8 and week 9, NXT beat AEW for the first time and second time, consecutively. But they did not win the demographic that they're trying to win, which is the 18 to 34 demographic.
I still think it's BS. They don't take account into like kids that like wrestling. I still
Sure.
think that's BS.
So what did I tell you the reasoning is that they don't focus on you guys?
Because I guess it's just what money, like the 18
Do
to
you have
30
a bunch of money you can throw at
No.
WWE?
No.
Do I?
Adults have more money than kids, but I'm just
Right.
saying. I'm just saying it's kind of
you
not
can't,
fair.
You can't buy a ticket to a WWE show or a AEW show,
I'm still,
but I can, and so they're trying to get my money, not your money.
yeah, but can't they get twice money for 2 tickets for?
Yes, they can, and they think about that, but the people that are really filling their seats, especially those especially AEW, they're going after, because they may have a hardcore match or something like that, a
Yeah.
no DQ match, right?
Yeah.
Those aren't necessarily for kids. There might be blood, there may be cuss words, right? And so they're making sure that people my age, people a little bit younger, I guess would be the key demographic, are the ones that they're trying to get to like the show. But it's still pretty cool that right now, and so they actually said that I think AEW, the week that NXT won, AEW won that 18 to 34 demographic, but it was only by 9,000 viewers. And this time around, this last week, it was by 6,000. So it's literally neck and neck. Now, with saying that, WWE had to actually take superstars that they had already put over in the main roster and bring them back down to AEW. Guys
Yeah,
like Finn Balor. Finn Balor's probably the biggest name that you see there. So Finn Balor's actually now a full-time roster guy on NXT. And then they also had Survivor Series where they basically folded NXT into that. Why are you messing with that?
I don't know.
And so that's another reason why they beat him, because they basically had like all the SmackDown superstars and all the Raw superstars come on to NXT. Well, if you're doing that, I mean, it's smart math. If you have 3 shows and you can take your best people from each show and put them on one show, you got it made in the shade. So AEW, that's what they were competing against. So it seems like great WWE beat them, but they had to use some very Bush League tactics to do it for those 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if AEW can kind of rebound, or if Vince and Triple H and the rest of the people that are part of the WWE went for, swung for the fences and they actually hit the home run, and this is kind of the thing that gets them over the hump, so to speak, and kind of evens it up. I will say that if you guys check it out, the Young Bucks have a show on YouTube called Being the Elite. We've talked about this. Yeah, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but they had the very first skit that they do on there literally was pretty much poking fun that a bunch of prognosticators are saying like, oh, they're already dead in the water, and so they talk about like it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. They just want to have fun. They just want to.
Their title
They just want to have a wrestling show. They're not trying to go out and kill anybody, even though they put out ads basically alluding to people saying that they were killing the WWE in ratings and stuff like that. So they're kind of playing with fire. They're poking the bear a little bit, but I like it. It's fun that we get to have selection now. If you're a wrestling fan, it's never been a greater time. Monday, you still have Monday Night Raw. Mm-hmm. Tuesday, you have AEW Black, which is their...
You mean Dark?
Sorry, AEW Dark, which is their dark matches that they put on YouTube. You have NWA Power, which is amazing. You have Impact Wrestling, which is the TNA promotion that we're going to talk about very, very soon, because if you want to talk about change, they're actually the ones that are creating change in the business. And then on Wednesdays, you have, obviously, AEW. You have NXT. And then Thursdays, I believe, is when they're now starting to drop MLW and Reality of Wrestling. And then Friday, SmackDown. Saturday is MLW again, I believe. And then they have Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but...
So, I mean, there's a plethora of things that you can watch. All of them are really good now.
The Reality of Wrestling and the
MLW.
Yeah, MLW. On those can be watched on the Fight app.
Yeah, on Fight. MLW has a YouTube channel, Reality of Wrestling. I'm sure you can see that as well. So there's always something to watch, and it's fun. So go check out any one of those. Check out Wednesday nights. That's when we drop this as well. So hopefully after you watch this, you'll go watch one of those 2 shows.
But
let us know what you think.
But do it before 7 o'clock. Do it before 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
7 o'clock's when it all goes down. So, guys, I think we're done with this round of great content, or maybe not so great content. I don't know. But Raiden, did you have fun?
Yes.
Was this exactly what you were hoping it was going to be after, taking a week off?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay. Well, maybe next time we let Raiden run the whole show, like Rob Van Dam, the whole damn show, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. So he might be taking over the board sometime soon, guys. I don't know. This old bull might have to step down from his board retire, whatever. I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm getting tired. So, guys, until next time, I won't say next week because it may not be next week, but until next time, I'm Dad, aka Aaron, and with me this week was
Raiden, aka the bear.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time on All Things Action. Goodbye.